State of Occurrence. Matthew here. I just wrote and recorded and released a song into the world of the internet. And I thought I'd just talk you through how I've learned over the last 8-ish years to record music and write music, and walk you through Strong, Stupid, Sweet, the newest release from State of Occurrence. The story of this song starts in Chicago, Illinois, on New Year's last year. I was visiting a friend up there and walked into Chicago Music Exchange and fell in love with this American vintage reissue of a 62, maybe 62, I'm pretty sure 62 Strat, made in 2012, and fell in love with it. Gorgeous. Was never really a Strat guy until I picked up this beautiful guitar. And while I was there, I listened to an excerpt from John Green's The Anthropocene Reviewed about the song Auld Lang Syne, of all things. And it inspired me deeply. And I ended up just in maybe 30-45 minutes on New Year's Day, early in the morning, I think it was New Year's Day, writing this song, Strong, Stupid, Sweet. We're here because we're here. My friend Wesley earlier that night were doodling around in guitars. I had just bought this one, so naturally we were. And he started playing this riff that he had. And I fell in love with that, and I asked him, can I do something with that? And he's like, yeah, obviously, do something with it. So that night, I wrote this song. I had already been doodling around with the chorus and the bridge of the song, and the so they just fit together so perfectly in the same key, and the song came out. So of course it has now been 10 months or so since I wrote it. Why has it taken so long, I hear you ask? Oh, you foolish young Matthew that asked that question. Life gets in the way, things get tough, and you just have to learn to roll with the punches and roll with motivation. And I made a demo of this song this summer, probably 6 months ago, but never really loved it. I did love it, I should say. It just didn't feel complete. And then eventually, a couple days ago, I decided to put the final touches on it, bows on it, redid the vocals, and added more guitar parts and whatnot, and it is what you hear now. So enough about the artsy-fartsy writing part. How does a person like me or you learn how to record and mix and master a song like this? Well, for me, my interest always was writing and recording music, and everything I learned on YouTube when I was a pre-tween teen into adulthood was based around that. So if I wanted to record drums for a song, I went on YouTube and figured out how to record drums and mix it and whatnot. So there's just a milieu of YouTube tutorials in my brain from the last decade. So it's very possible to just figure out how to do things. My personal process is I always start off recording with just like a single one take of the whole guitar performance, just to get the feel down. Because I have somewhat of a vision in my head when I'm just writing the song on the guitar or the piano or something like that. But the whole feel of the song comes from the drums. I kind of started off as a drummer, so I'll get that down and I'll play drums over it. And if I can find a good drum beat that matches, great. Sometimes the drums will inform what the guitar should be like. So it just depends on the feel. And this is all, of course, easier if you have friends and you can just jam. But some of us aren't in that situation and just kind of do things by ourselves. So that's how I've done it most of the time. And in terms of recording the drums, some interesting tips. I found with this kind of music, the indie, alt, rock, etc., whatever you want to call the genre, unless you are an extraordinary drummer and or have an extraordinary set of microphones and preamps, you will get a better result in a final mix and master if you close mic all of your drums. And that can sound very expensive, but I am still using an old Tascam 16-channel interface I got new in like 2014 for like $300. It might have even been less than that. And I have used, for many songs that are now on Spotify, some cheap $10 pile rip-offs of an SM57 that I saw on a R. David R. video however many years ago as close mics on toms especially. I think this current song might have even... No, I've got enough good mics now. But I think like the bottom snare mic it was on this recording was just a cheap $10 knockoff 57. And I would say if you're going to put some money into getting a good sound, you want at least a good kick drum microphone because it's very difficult to get a kick drum to sound right. Probably get an actual microphone for the top of the snare, like an SM57, and then a decent overhead. In a mix like this, I'm not sure how much you're really going to get from spending too much on an overhead. It's just that final 2% is where you spend 90% of your money. So if you get a good kick mic, if you get a good snare mic, and you can close mic the toms with whatever the F you can get your hands on, you're going to get a decent sound if you know how to mix it. And that's just trial and error and YouTube tutorials. When it comes to guitars, normally I don't personally like to double track too much, go away over the top, but this song kind of needed it, so there's probably at one point maybe 4 or 5 guitar parts playing the and then maybe 4 other ones doing the at various different octaves, and then I think there's another one doing just a single noted. There's actually 2 doing that. So there's, at one point in the song, I think there's like 15 guitar stems going each other, but that was just the style that this song needed. And how I recorded it, you can just get an SM57 that you used for your snare drum, put it on your mic, on your guitar, and you can get anal with mic placements if you're gonna get anal, but the sound is a sound, and I normally don't get anal, and it sounds good. It sounds fine. I'm just recording into an Ignator tweaker, a 15-watt tube amp I got at Guitar Center used for like $300, probably 7 or 8 years ago now. And hey, it sounds great. I love it. When it comes to the bass guitar, I've just got this Squier Jaguar bass that I got when I started playing bass when I was maybe 13 or 14. I started playing bass before I started playing guitar, actually. And it's a gorgeous bass. I mean, it probably cost my parents like $250, $300 back in the day. And it sounds great. You put it on. I usually play it both pickups all the way up, or even just the P-bass pickup with the tone all the way up, and it's a sound. I recorded it into the JHS Color Box V2 recently. That's what I've been doing, and I put some dirt on it. But normally, with every one of my other songs, I recorded into the my Fender Rumble 200 bass amp. There's an XLR out, and I recorded with that, and sounded great. When it comes to vocals, normally what I'd do is I'd sing into like the SM7B or something like that, but I've got this this blue in, and that sounds beautiful, obviously. Normally my vocal performances, I don't love the sound of my voice. Who does? But normally I like have a lot of energy, but this song, like the whole vibe was lackadaisical. I liked the use of that word in the chorus, so I dialed it back. I also think like my voice is more controlled when I dial back too, so played around with that vibe. Normally I do the loud singing thing, but I kind of wanted to change it up, see what this song does, and I like it, so it gave kind of a more relaxed performance, demo-y performance to contrast with the song, and I think it works out pretty well. And I just recorded it with this Blue through a nice preamp. I've got a whole video on a preamp if you want to watch that. When it comes to actually recording the music, what I've just always done is used Adobe Audition. Why, you may ask? It's because I've had Premiere Pro, the Adobe suite, since I was probably 14 or 15, because I've done photo, video stuff for work on and off ever since then, and Audition comes with it. You won't find, I've never seen anyone, I think, do the kind of stuff I do in Adobe Audition, but it works for me, because the way I think about music and recording music is just, it's an analog signal from a microphone that I can mix around later. That's the way my mind works when it comes to like the production side of things. I have not put the effort into learning like MIDI and digital instruments and whatnot. Not out of any sort of pretension, I don't think. It's just I like just the analog sound running into a mic, and I do what I do with that. And for Adobe Audition, that's pretty much all you can do, and it works great. When it comes to mixing, pretty much all I do is, low cut your vocals. There's a couple songs I've done where I haven't done that, and now I go back and listen to them, and like the voice is just like so overwhelming, and I hate that. So low cut the vocals, low cut everything pretty much except bass and drums, and the kick drum, and you get a better sound. Mixing on and off, you sit here with headphones in, with headphones off for about 8 hours straight, messing around. You render one, you export one version, listen to it for a bit, you come back, make a change, export another version, listen to it for a little bit, make some notes, give yourself a rest, come back, make another change, and eventually you just say, this is going to be the final version, this is going to be good enough. Some tricks that I've found to getting a good master is Audition actually has a pretty good multi-band compressor just built in, and 90% of the music I've done is basically the stock preset. There's like a pop preset, and that's kind of a master along with some extra tweaks, and that's kind of it. If you listen to any of my music on Spotify, it's all pretty much just the stock built-in preamps, and if you listen to any of my music on Spotify, it's pretty much just the stock effects from Adobe Audition, mixed as well as I can, and that's how I've done it. I grew up, running sound and whatnot in churches, and kind of fell in love with that. And the way Audition works for me is like a big soundboard. You can see I've got all my faders up here, and it makes sense to me. When it comes to distribution, what I've used since 2016 or whatever is just DistroKid. You pay like $30 a year. At least the plan I've got is like $30 a year for 2 or 3 bands, because I've got like State of Occurrence and like a side project with my buds, and it is what it is. You get all the royalties that Spotify will give you. I haven't broken even yet. Subscribe and listen to my music if you want to reach the breaking even $30 a year threshold. And yeah, that's how it's done. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments. That's where you put comments, and I'll try and answer them and maybe make a video about them, because always looking for good ideas for videos. This has been State of Occurrence. You can listen to the song Strong, Stupid, Sweet on YouTube if you want the lyrics video, or Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Thanks for watching.